Welcome to the Vision Profiles podcast. Join us, dedicated Apple Vision Pro users, as we dive into everything from hardware and software to apps and the latest updates in the world of Apple Vision Pro. I'm Marty, a faculty member at a Midwest university, a podcaster, and an Apple product fan.
And I'm Eric Bolden. I work with IT, but my interest is in finding interesting ways to share content, currently photography of plants and birds and panoramic sequences.
And I am Dave Ginsburg, the host of the In Touch with iOS podcast. I'm passionate about technology, especially Apple, and use it in real-world experience as a 27-year veteran of IT professional and iPhone subject matter expert. I learn things about the Vision Pro every day.
So just a reminder, you can join us on the live stream on YouTube at youtube.com/@visionprofiles on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or catch the video later on YouTube or the audio on any podcatcher service. Hey, I have not been doing Vision Pro Notes because there's nothing to pro note about. We could be seeing some things to talk about, and we'll get to the beta in a bit, but there hasn't been any super exciting news. People have been rehashing stuff, some of which we'll kind of get the tail end of in this show. But usually pro notes Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings. But between traveling, between a bad throat, the last pro note I did, I had to stop 9 times in 6 minutes to cough, which meant I had 9 edits I had to put into it. So I'm looking for some news, looking for some pro notes as they come out, and maybe some things will happen this week for us to kind of do that. News. Let's jump to news. Hover headset. Well, wait a minute. Before we get into that, Dave, what's new with you? You just did some traveling.
We got Web XP in the chat tonight. How you doing, Web?
Oh,
I was hanging out with Web this weekend. We got to enjoy the Chiefs' victory yesterday at Arrowhead Stadium. What a crazy place that is! First time I ever been there. Thanks to Web and letting me join him. That was a lot of fun, and he's lurking tonight, as he says. I spent the weekend in Kansas City. What a great town, and amazing barbecue. I'm so full of food right now. It's not even funny.
you were in Kansas City. I was in Philly, and you'd think I'd get my fill of Philly cheesesteak when I was in Philly. Instead, we were downtown right near what they refer to as Chinatown. And so I was a 2-block walk away from 3 days of dim sum. And that's all I ate for 3 days. And came home and, no. You don't know me. So Web Bixby, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you're lurking. That makes you sound a little creepier than usual.
And we couldn't tempt him to buy a Vision Pro either, as much as I tried when I was with him at the Apple Store this past weekend.
It's only because he's waiting for the new one.
That is true. It could be.
So we also have a new world is happening in the chat room, and they said live sports is new. And we'll talk about live sports. I've got a few articles embedded around that. The thing that some folks said would never happen because of the bandwidth, it looks like they've come up with some kind of solution for that they're pretty secure about announcing what's gonna happen with sports coming up soon. So that's all exciting. But hover headset, I don't know what to tell you about this. Dave and I have both ordered one, and it is a setup that attaches to the single loop and a pad on the front, and then you have this where your lenses are or where your face mask is kind of adjustable, where you can lift it up. And I like this. What's in the box? I mentioned this. Dave kind of covered this on In Touch with iOS on Thursday. What's in the box? A little bit Stormtrooper, a whole lot of fun. May the Force be with you. And it's a different weight distribution. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. If you go to the buy now, it's $64, and it's being done through Shop. Why didn't Apple think of that? And then some of the things that they say with it. I love this one because I'm a Devo fan. When a problem comes along, you must flip it. Is
Flip
part
it,
of the
whip it
marketing.
good.
Flip it good. Yeah. Saw some interesting things in terms of adjusting and information on it. So, Dave, what compelled you?
You. It looks interesting. I didn't think it was awfully expensive to give it a shot and try it out. I don't know how much I'll be using it. I mean, I like the fact that you got the Vision Pro and you're going to be able to like kind of flip it up like an old man with his flip up
Set up
sunglasses.
sunglasses.
Right? Yeah. So maybe it'll come in handy. It's got that little hover shell point above your forehead here that's going to kind of hang over. So that's how it, I guess, comes up. But we haven't either one of us have received it yet. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing works.
I'm tracking mine in it, and it says it's like in a town, I don't know, 30 miles away from me. Mm-hmm. And it says, your shipment will be delayed. And I'm like, oh, I can walk down there and get it. But yeah, we'll see how it is when it comes in. Eric, did you see anything interesting in this or anything that was appealing?
No, I'm kind of curious to see how you like it, but since my dual loop band comes close enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you using the Belkin?
Nope. I'm using Apple's. I just use it really, really, really loosely.
Okay. Yeah, which was what I heard people say, that the problem is people over tighten it. And then they have
so loose that it gives you a warning that that the front dips a little or you're too far from the screen. And then so you just barely get it on just right. And then there are no pressure points.
Yeah. Well, news today came out just this afternoon at 1 o'clock. I've learned now at 1 o'clock Eastern time on Monday just to start checking my devices to see if there are new betas on them. And at the same time, I was looking at Reddit, and Reddit popped up that there was something new. So new beta's out. It is 8.5 gigabytes, so significantly smaller than the last two betas that were released at around 14. And what can you say about the beta? There's not a lot in here. So I ran a comparison between the beta 2 and the beta 3. This is Vision OS 26.1 beta 2 versus beta 3. Both require Xcode 26.1 to rebuild, to apply fixes if you want to. And you have to recompile. It's more explicit about the recompiling within beta 3. It explains it has to do it. It's not assumed. There are fixed bugs in preventing local background files from being found in apps. Same issue is listed. They made some changes in it, but really no change, repeated confirmation of the fix. And then with game controllers, there's really no change. The fix retained and verified because they fixed a timing bug for button presses. And then finally in the health kit, they added some explicit clarification with the health kit regarding the blood pressure switch replacing two single toggles in it. And the API is unchanged and the apps must still request both types. Also in HealthKit, it fixed the bug to prevent some blood pressure correlation data, and the same fix is listed. Swift UI fixed a crash from navigation link indicator visibility modifier. It's the same fix in beta 3, but it clarified the scope of affected OS versions. So a little bit more broader than implied before. And then no other components were really changed, no new features or categories. So not a lot in this one. Nothing that you are going to see per se if you're going to be doing this kind of, going to be doing developer work. It seemed to download pretty quick, and it seemed to actually load pretty quick on the device when I did it this afternoon. Yeah, nothing much new with that.
I just was able to install it a little while ago, so it just installed. Yeah, you're right. It went pretty quick. And I've always used to having to sit there and watch it and make sure that it finishes the update. But now, once you do it, as long as you're looking at it and it starts the process, I set it down so it's not, the eyes are not covered, so it'll do its update and not go to sleep. And then I came back about 10, 15 minutes later, and it was done. So
yeah. And it felt like this time, I've always felt like I've got to keep it on my head when it's doing all this stuff. And it immediately said, no, just take it off and put it down. Yeah. And it did the update. So
with my past experience of going to the Apple Store to restore it, that's why I've been kind of leery about it. So, but the last 2 or 3, it's been pretty flawless, knock on wood.
Yeah, well, again, there's not a lot there. I keep doing this and I keep thinking, wait a minute, we're going to see a lot until it goes to 26.2. All we're going to see is fixes from now on, but they've been coming out weekly, so that's pretty impressive. Yeah. Hey, guys, I don't know if you knew this, but Apple Vision Pro is dead.
What?
They're still reporting these, and this comes out of Macworld. Come on, guys.
Who's the author?
So it talks about how Apple reportedly scraps the lighter Vision Pro to focus on Meta Glass's killer. And it's interesting to see reactions on this, particularly on Reddit, because these things will get reposted on Reddit. And here's another one. This is a Bloomberg article. So, it's going to jam up. I can unlock access. No, I don't want to unlock access. So, and this actually came from Mark Gurman's stuff with Bloomberg, talking about how that they're shifting over people to work on the glasses. When you start reading these stuff, people will post it in Reddit and folks will get panicky with it. And people will say, oh, I told you all the time it was going to be a dead product. Until some rational conversation comes in and they start saying, it's a big company. Moving 30 employees from here to here is not a big deal. There's lots of reasons why they could have done it. It doesn't assume the product line is dead. Eric, any thoughts?
Yeah, you could get something like that even if all they were doing is adjusting timelines and stretching something out a little bit. It doesn't make any sense to move something forward if it's been delayed a tiny bit. It's possible that whatever their new little bump version of the current version is looking like it's more than adequate to handle everything. I am hopeful that what it really means is that the rumored new version of a dual loop band is so incredibly comfortable, there is no reason to make it lighter.
Yeah. So, so far, Macworld is kind of saying it's dead, and all of this is coming off Bloomberg's report and Mark Gurman's report with it. So it's just kind of fascinating how all of this is focused on a couple of stories. And, as you said, Eric, if we get out of the rumor stories about Apple Vision Pro being dead or Vision Pro 2 being dead, you get into some interesting things. And to kick it off was the article that someone found information to reference the fact that there is a new dual knit band. And I'm showing an article here from Upload VR, and they right at the top, right at the beginning, in the picture, they say this is a mock-up.
Yeah.
This is speculative Photoshop mock-up.
Wings.
Yeah. It looks like that person has a very big head. That's like gorilla size, if that was the functionality of it. But again, based on the Gurman report, that the upcoming refresh Apple Vision Pro will include a new strap to make it easier on the headset. And then they go back into, this is going to be an M5 or an M4, currently uses an M2. They do not talk about like one of the defining aspects, which is what about the R1 versus the R2 chip? What about RAM, which is another thing that's been discussed with the new Element? And it's interesting to see the arguments about the strength of this new headset, where people are saying it does everything I want it to do. They're not putting anything out that's going to cause it to be any more interesting for me to buy a new version of the headset. Just because it goes from an M2 to an M5, I don't know. They ignore all the other potential internal changes around processors. So, thoughts, guys?
I'm hoping we can have a lot more widgets, because there's a limit on how many widgets you can have in one room.
So the M5 will allow you to create more widgets, and the R2 will make them more placeable in the room and
Hopefully.
better. Yeah. All right. We'll go with more widgets. That's cool.
I want to have an entire virtual museum in one room. I think it'll be cool.
I'm reading what Cletus is saying in the chat room. It's a new product. It takes time to build an infrastructure around it. And I think he's just referring to the general Vision Pro. Still trying to convince Webb in the chat room to buy one.
I tried to.
So this is...
There's always a chance that there'll be new colors. Maybe we'll get, bright orange.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get Kansas City Chiefs red or whatever it is.
That might do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is a Reddit discussion, and I don't know, I think maybe Eric, you sent it to us, but it's an interesting discussion about the Vision Pro M5 benchmarks. And this is part of what I was
Now, to be
trying
clear,
to explain.
I don't think anybody involved in any of this discussion actually has touched the new device.
Yeah.
There is speculation layered on speculation, but it is entertaining.
Yeah, and we have the link in the show notes for you. But, through that, one of the points that people make in it is, hey, wait a minute, you're only just looking at the M5 chip. You're not looking at going from 8 to 16 RAM. You're not looking at going to an R2.
Yep.
And they keep thinking about it in terms of, I'm a gamer, there aren't enough games on it, so why would I want to buy a new one anyways? Dave, this is enterprise, is what I see it for.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
As well as development.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just getting there with enterprise. You know, where the companies want their direction, and getting them to do that is going to take time.
Yep. So, we're seeing some of that already develop in the business section. So, like, who's going to buy the new one? Well, it's the business are going to buy the new one. They're going to be the ones that are kind of focused on it. And again, this is an interesting link in Reddit, some interesting discussion with it. So giving them credit, it's kind of an interesting read through. And Eric was able to find that. So, looking at what else we have. Okay, so I have a discussion for you guys. I want to hear all over this, and I've got 3 articles here that will be in the show notes. One from the applepost.com, one from appleday.org, and one from WCCF Tech. But they're not the only ones. And they're basing a lot of this on the groomers that have come up too. Yeah, most of the articles are talking about the groomers, but they say this is the week it's going to happen.
Yep.
Dave, I see that smile inside you.
Yeah.
Is it going to happen this week?
All roads point to it. I mean, I see it becoming a possibility. You also included the Macs that are potentially coming out. I'm not interested in the Mac M5. I want to get the entry level MacBook Pro with the M5 processor out there, so they can get some people buying them for Christmas time. But I want an M5 Pro, just like I have an M1 Pro right now. I don't want to change, so we got to wait for that. But to have it as an M5, I mean, I know we're going to have some discussions at some point about justification. Do I really want to upgrade my Vision Pro to the M5 versus the M2? And there's been a lot of other discussions about that, but that's a different topic. But I think it's going to happen. I mean, the groomers that have been out there have been pretty solid. Last few times he said something, so I would be all surprised that we might be reporting it this week. So.
Yeah. So then my questions for you are, how does it happen? Do we wake up tomorrow morning and there's a press release saying these things go on sale?
Yeah.
How are we going to be notified? Or do we kind of check the store to see when it's closed down for a couple hours as they try to change their inventory?
It won't go that far.
Okay.
They won't shut the store down. I'd be surprised.
It'll be a series of press releases, and I'm still not sure if it's going to be over the next 2 weeks or they're going to try and cram it all in 1 week. So basically, if you see a new iPad with an M5 in it, you'll see a Vision Pro with an M5. I don't know who will come out first, but the next software releases are all looking like they're kind of close. Potentially, there could be an announcement first and then come out with the OS updates. So you could get a sequence of announcements and then a bug fix release, a week or 2 after that.
Yeah.
So by the end of the next week at the latest. I'm not 100% sure about this week.
I would like them just to come out with the whole thing so I can decide where my money's going, and in what priority is my money going there. I've got money set aside for a new Vision Pro, and that's probably top priority because I'm doing this. And frankly, I don't I've got an M4 Pro, MacBook Pro right now. I don't know what the convincer would be to get me up to an M5 at this point when the M4s came out 16, 18 months ago.
Easy
So
decision for me.
What? It's easy decision for you. It's not a...
M1 to M5. So
Yeah, right. That's an easy decision. For me, it's sort of like, do I capitalize on the trade-in value of it the best I can now, or, unless it makes lunch for me on a daily basis, there's no reason. I mean, I can't see any reason because I'm not pushing my M4 MacBook to the extreme. I've got M4 MacBook Airs, so those are fine and dandy, and iPads that are the same, and so I don't. And I'm not using the iPads to the full extent anyways. So I'm kind of lost on this one. The definite is the Vision Pro. Now, if they do something like put the MacBook Pro out as an M5, and then I have to sit and wait and wonder whether the Vision Pro is going to happen, that's going to be an uncomfortable time for me. But my preference would be to have them all at the same time. And Cletus is just suggesting the thing that I fear the most: just buy it all. In the chat room, thanks, Cletus.
Don't forget to get one of each color.
Yeah, and while you're at it, I'll pick one up for web. So yeah, so a couple of articles, as I mentioned. The Apple Post has got an article on the second generation Apple Vision Pro slated to launch this week. This one is appleday.org, and it's a blog talking again, similar. And then finally, Apple reported preparing to launch M5, iPad Pro, Vision Pro, and MacBook Pro models this week. Boy, that's going to be a interesting Christmas. So,
so I have one question. So if they come out with the M5 Vision Pro,
yeah,
is it going to cost the same, or is it going to cost more than the current Vision Pro, or is it going to cost less?
no, it definitely won't cost less. I think it's going to cost the same, unless Apple decides to raise it up a little bit just because of all the tariff nonsense. But Apple did get a bit of a break from that, so it probably will be around the same pricing. $14.99 starting price on an M5, and then you go to $19.99 on the M5 Pro, and then you of course bump up from there depending on what you add to it. 1 terabyte solid state, go to 24 gigs of RAM. So that'll bump you up about $2,500. So that's where my sweet spot's going to be. Just going to going to that base plan. I just don't do enough that I can justify going. Like our friend Chuck, I think he's got 96 gigs of RAM, but he does a lot of video editing, and it makes more sense to do that. I do some. I mean, I probably should have it for the future, but I'm just not ready. I don't do it enough that I can justify it, but I still want one because this M1 is getting a little long in the tooth. I'm starting to notice we're crashing, and I haven't re-imaged it since I've had it basically. And I do a boot and nuke. I hate doing that because it takes forever.
Yeah, but it feels so good when you nuke and pave.
It does. You just nuke and pave. That's it. Allison Sheridan's very good at that. So
yeah, I live by that philosophy. Every 2 to 3 years, if you're going to hold on to a computer that long, and I generally don't, but if you are, you got to nuke and pave to just start fresh and get all the garbage out of it. I'm running everything on a Mac Studio M4 Ultra or M4 Max on the Mac Studio with 64 gigabytes. So I have enough horsepower to do the video editing that I'm doing, with the show and such. It happens pretty quick for me.
Yep.
Okay, once again, Samsung's back in the news. Well, Samsung rumors are back in the news, and we have a couple of articles that you can check out. This comes from Mashable, and the article talks about Samsung Galaxy XR headset. Early report, Project Moohan. God, what a silly name. Beats
Man.
Apple Vision Pro in two key ways. If you want 4K resolution in a lighter device, this may be the virtual reality experience for you. Of course, they are, I guess, they're in store now with them, aren't they? They're doing demos.
Are they? I wasn't. I wasn't
Yeah, I think they
aware of
started,
that.
expected to launch very soon. No, I guess not. And yeah, it's not there yet.
Yeah, I didn't
But I
think so.
think they're talking end of October for launch. That was the rumor about it. And then another Mashable article because they couldn't stretch enough out of the one article. Samsung's Project Moohan versus Apple Vision Pro, how the rumor specs compared. And they're rumored specs. Android headlines claim Moohan isn't as front heavy and does feel like it's being propped up by your nose thanks to a strap in the back and additional cushioning. So they talk about the display difference in the 4K micro OLED that offers a total of 29 million pixels. Vision Pro, on the other hand, offers only 23 million pixels. So, nah, hey. Any thoughts on this, guys?
Yeah, not much to say about it, honestly.
I'm curious. I think I don't see a lot of people who are Android focused saying, oh, I'm just going to pick up a Vision Pro headset to begin with. I don't see folks who are Apple focused to say, I'm going to lay out the cash for Project Moohan and get a Samsung headset because it's all in the ecosystem. And if you're going to, be within an ecosystem, then you're going to have to take everything with you. And I don't know too many people who have devices. I don't know anybody who has devices from phone to tablet to laptop to desktop to VR headset in both ecosystems. So if you're going to do one, you got to do the rest in order to kind of be effective across the platform. So I have no idea.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
yeah, I have to say, for people that are using the Vision Pro primarily as a display, I've seen some interest in, I would like to be able to do this with other platforms, other devices. So I could see that being something of interest. For people that just want to watch video on a device that you could use on a plane or whatever, um, or in a cube or something, I could see interest in some alternative. But when you look at it, the battery life is even less than what the Vision Pro is. And potentially the Vision Pro is going to have yet another version coming out right about the time this one actually starts showing up for people. And I don't see any indication that they're getting ready to churn out yet another update, that they've barely gotten this one out the door. So I'm happy to see the competition. I'm kind of with you on, I'm not exactly sure what people will be doing with it just yet, But if it gives a few people some ideas, okay. I don't see recommending it to anyone I know.
Yeah.
I'm finding the Vision Pro still is more flexible.
Yeah, I would imagine too. But I'm not an Android user. If I was deep into the Android system and didn't have a headset, this might drive me into headsets in that platform.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have. Okay. This is an interesting story outside of the stuff that's going on with Samsung. Apple smart glasses with in-lens display may feature two modes. In his Power On newsletter today, Mark Gurman said that he was told a future version of Apple's smart glasses may be able to run a full version of Vision OS operating system when they're paired with a Mac, and then switch to a more lightweight, mobile-friendly interface when they're paired with an iPhone. Interesting. And, Apple smart glasses will compete with the Meta Ray-Bans, which are now available in an in-lens display, pricing at $800 in the United States. Have you seen much on the Meta Ray-Bans in terms of what they can do for $800?
No.
No.
People who report on them that have had them are like, oh, this is cool, but they don't report on it as a necessarily sustainable device that you can use for productivity. It's just not there yet, but it is in-lens display, which is interesting, and it creates a AR sort of worldview. But what do you do with that in terms of actually work or work type things? So, but they're talking about, Gurman is talking about whatever version Apple glasses come out, there could be one that you tie to your Mac and one that you tie to your phone. And I would say the one tied to the phone is probably more consumer based, whereas the one tied to the Mac is probably more productivity, could be consumer, but more productivity based, if that's to come out. Now, it's that time of the show that's my favorite time of the show. It's Dave's favorite time of the show, too. It's patent time. And some new patents out there. Precision Fit Apple explores roller bearings for future AR VR headsets. Over the last week, we have seen lots of material or over the last couple of weeks, lots of material on adjusting and ways to adjust either a new version of the Vision Pro or Apple glasses. So these patents seem to be being set by Apple, and with all the conversation about the new product, it seems to be a push to fit some of these in, and it's very cool to look at the way it can make adjustments as the patents have that set up. So, yeah. So the idea of using roller balls.
Interesting.
Yeah, so another kind of mechanics put into a patent that has some practical application. And if you think and look at the patents over the last 4 weeks, just the ones that are related to the glasses, if these things come to bear, one, they're pretty cool, and two, they also have some direct functionality that other glasses aren't set up to do yet, or either other glasses aren't thinking about. We've got another one here with Apple patent reveals future use of speech to decode facial gestures for realistic avatars. Introduces a new approach to generating lifelike avatars by decoding facial gestures using both image and audio data. A breakthrough aimed at improving the realism and emotional nuance in the augmented virtual reality. The patent covers technology described enabled devices such as iPhones, iPads, Vision Pro headsets to capture both images and sounds of the user. They combine these streams to create a photorealistic 3D avatar or persona. And, interesting diagrams, figures in here, not a lot to go on from it in terms of flowcharts on how the information is gathered. And, descriptions of how the model develops. I guess the thing that gets me excited about this is this week you guys have been maybe exposed to Sora. And the idea that if you've played around with Sora, it's frighteningly good in terms of if you want to create deep fakes, I guess. And I sent you some videos I created with it, short form videos of it. And I still have a lot to learn about it, but my wife's complaint was, that does not sound like you. That doesn't look like you. What's going on with your lip? And I'm like, nobody looks at my face like you look at my face. But the idea that combining it with some sort of AI engine to be able to take in the audio and the nuances, and even setting up Sora, it's like, does the same thing that we do with Vision Pro when we're creating persona, when we do facial recognition with Apple products, same sort of thing. And then it's followed by, say, these 3 numbers. And then it takes that and it turns it completely into deepfake in terms of video. So this, I think, is pretty impressive. I don't really care as much about avatars as I think Eric does. And them looking and being very real. But I think it's an interesting patent that has some future. So. And then there's one about adaptive audio with magnetically coupled headset speakers, and then 2 design patents that they have for it. And a Mac stand, iMac stand. Oh, it's interesting. Guys, any of this stuff thrill you?
Yeah.
Well, I found the whole idea of attaching speakers to the headset and have that be both power and audio signals. That's kind of a neat.
Yeah. Dave, anything?
I would just hope that if we are including audio in the headset, on a headset like that, especially with speakers, that it's lightweight. I don't know what kind of speakers those are going to be. I mean, yeah, technology's there. They can have small size speakers for that. That's what I would have to see.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of the fidelity in what is the sound going to be like for me when I'm on a plane. Because when I'm on a plane, you stick in the earbuds and away you go. And I know, Dave, you and I were both traveling and we were texting back and forth. You had some experience just with the AirPods 3 Pro 3s in terms of flight stuff. And I'm sure you'll talk more about it on iOS, In Touch with iOS.
I'll save it for that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Pretty remarkable. That's all I'll say in terms of what it does for sound isolation with it. And we'll talk more about it on In Touch with iOS. Just a couple more stories. This is the one you've been waiting for. Sports. And the idea that Vision Pro rumored R2 chip and live sport tests in 2020-25. And this particular article is, I don't know where people come up with these journal titles, but Glass Almanac is the purveyor of that article.
Huh.
Yeah, where do you find these websites? I don't know.
Yeah, well, you have to have a boring life and then seek out some of this stuff. Then Engadget also has the same thing. Apple is bringing live NBA games to Vision Pro in 2026. It's the Lakers, folks. Lakers games will be filmed and viewable in Apple Vision immersive video format. And it's a combination, so it's Apple and it's Spectrum Sportsnet are going to stream select Los Angeles Laker games directly to the Apple Vision Pro during the 25-26 basketball season. They'll be filmed in the Apple immersive video format, probably using, what is it, the Cine Immersive, Eric?
Yeah. Yeah. Blanking on it, but yes.
Yeah.
The Ursa sign.
Yeah.
Should
So
be nice.
beyond, go ahead.
Who gets
Eric.
to
I'm
watch
sorry.
it though? Oh, I was going to say, who is able to watch it? It sounded like it was restricted.
Headset owners living in the Lakers regional broadcast territory.
Yeah, only people in LA can see it. And see a really crappy team, honestly.
Well, it's proof of concept, okay?
Yeah,
good
team to pick.
Yeah. It is proof of concept that even if it's regional or locked regional, I don't know why Spectrum would get into something that locks it down regional.
I would not surprised at all. They want to keep it regional because they want to keep their audience. They're not looking to put it out national. I mean, it's not when the Lakers are playing, national games like on HBO Max, TNT, and I'm sorry, they don't do that anymore. NBC, and any national games. Yeah, you're not going to see that because NBC hasn't gotten involved in anything like that yet.
Yeah, so here's what you need. Apparently, you need to live in Southern California. You need to be part of this Spectrum Sportsnet, which is probably a payable part of their streaming service. And you have to have a Vision Pro. And according to the first article, you have to have one with an R2 chip in it. So we're talking about a newer model. Yeah, interesting. But I will hold my own. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
And therein lies the justification of the upgrade. If the R2 chip is required for many new things of content, then maybe it's justifiable. But I don't know if that's a game changer when it comes to that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Webb says in the chat, I bet it's an NBA restriction. He's probably right.
That it's restricted to the particular region and it can't be streamed out everywhere.
Yeah, NBA may have the NBA itself might be putting some restrictions on it. I would tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, and realistically, it probably helps it to be more successful and not get overloaded because you wouldn't have to deal with that much data going all over the place. It's in a pretty concentrated area.
Right.
All right. Proof of concept. That means your local sports group or area can make a contract with the NBA to give them even more money and give your cable provider even more money so you can wear it on the new headset that you're going to buy because it has an R2 chip in it.
I can see the articles now. Apple can't keep up with demand. Game watching delayed. Yeah.
Yeah, and then a final article by Tech Radar says some of the main stuff. Yeah, and all of these articles, their lead is this idea that now you've got a reason to put your Vision Pro headset back on or dust it off. Now you have a reason. That was in the previous article. Dust it off because now you have a reason to finally use it so you can watch the Lakers as long as you are in Southern California and can pay the access fee. So, anyways, interesting. Three articles there about it. 4 articles with The Verge, because The Verge is on top of it too. A selection of live Lakers games will be available to watch in the Apple Immersive format. Many of the same stuff that's been released with it. And comments. I'm very excited about this. The 4 people who still use their AVP and happen to love the NBA and the Lakers are going to be very happy. So that is a small Venn diagram, is what the guy's saying.
Well,
So interesting.
The NBA has its own app that they did some pretty amazing things with their content. So not something probably as advanced as this is, but I watched the NBA All-Star game when they had that demo, and they did come up with some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I think the NBA app isn't on this too. So to add, no, I thought I read that you had to run it. It was running through the NBA app.
Well, then that means that the NBA is involved, if that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah, at least they're one of the partners in this. Okay. And Spectrum. Now, this comes out of the Apple newsroom. This article from Apple. Spectrum brings the NBA games in Apple Immersive.
Yeah. I mean, if Apple's acknowledging it, then there is some sort of partnership with it. So maybe it isn't an NBA restriction. And that's the sense. I didn't realize you had that article about that.
Yeah. Apple Vision Pro users can enjoy traditional broadcast live on demand with Spectrum TV and NBA apps. The NBA app for Vision Pro allows fans with NBA League Pass to see real-time player and game stats. Right. Yeah. Right. So, yeah.
A big NBA fan, so this will not be of much interest to me.
Yeah. Really tall men running up and down the court, back and forth and back and forth. It's the opposite of excitement that the excitement that golf has for me. Sorry, Chuck.
Don't call it Chuck that.
It is kind of interesting. It says that the in select games they'll have player movements on a 3D court with tabletop mode. So not every game, but a few.
So you can watch them.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
So you can get an overview of what's going on and where people are going, so that you can study the skill of the game.
Yeah, and if you get bored, you can switch to the app that lets you watch planes land on a tabletop, which
or
for me would be
racing.
Which would for me would be just as exciting as watching a basketball game.
Well, I mean, it was a lot of fun watching the sailing. That was really neat from kind of the overview of who's doing
the
what.
sailing is pretty cool in that. But basketball, I don't know. I'll see it when I get my brand new Vision Pro headset with the R2 chip in it and move to Southern California. Yeah. And I was kind of hoping Daniel would be here. He couldn't be here tonight because he might have something on this. I'm not a gamer, but this seems to be a big bit of news that's come out and people are talking about it. There is a game called Control. I guess there's an Ultimate Edition version of it. It's coming to Apple devices like the iPhone, iPad, and Vision Pro in early 2026. It's Remedy's Paranormal Shooter. So, interesting. The main character looks really upset. And they have images.
That's because the main character has to stand there just like that until 2026.
Either of you guys do games, or does this mean anything to you in terms of Control is finally coming? The Ultimate Edition is finally coming too.
Well, the part that you could do it with a game controller or with touch controls was nice. That gives me some hope that there'll be more fine-tuned control and more games, yet still be able to kind of try them out without having to have a controller.
One more article, I guess two more articles on the same topic before we get into the apps and close the show out. And I tried desperately to find this this afternoon. It is Enema launches The End of Genesis, a cybernetic opera spatial experience on Apple Vision Pro. Now, from this, it says these guys were in residency at the Sphere. And Dave, you've been out there to see the Sphere in Las Vegas. But this was apparently sort of part of the Sphere experience while they were in there. I tried to chase this down through links. I tried to go into Vision Pro and find it. It says it was available in Vision Pro, but you can go into music and look at it. And so what I did was I couldn't find it through any search method through Vision Pro. But I did go into the music on Vision Pro, Apple Music, and they had some videos in there. And so I ran a couple of the videos for that. And they have a 3D sort of feel to it. So that might be the experience they're talking about. But, Spatial Gallery app offers free exclusive access to the documentary. So you can find out about it in the Spatial Gallery app. But it looks pretty fantastic. It looks very cool. Again, there's an article in WeRaveview.com. Again, another wonderful. It's up there with Newsweek and Time. Another wonderful source for news. And then the other article was in EDM Tunes, and some really nice stills of what is possible with this. You can watch it in 2D on Apple Music across other Apple devices like iPhone, Mac. Apple Vision Pro's Apple Spatial computer designed to blend digital, blah, blah, blah. Spatial Gallery showcases an exclusive selection of spatial photos, videos, and panoramas from the leading artist. And for more information on Apple Vision Pro, it takes you to an ad on Apple Vision Pro. So, I don't know. Interesting blend of art with that. I want to see a whole opera, even a digital opera done that way. So,
Preferably Klingon.
no, not Klingon. Okay.
Klingon opera?
That kind of runs the gamut in terms of what we have for Apple News. Some new stuff, some rehash of old stuff that people keep squeezing out. But let's look at apps. Did you try? Were you able to try any of these, guys?
Unfortunately not. I was out of town.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because you were out of town. Yeah. Eric, you said yes. Which one did you try?
Yeah, I wasn't able to get the link to the hand physics lab. That's the one I really wanted to try. But I
Yeah.
did try the shooting range, which actually was not bad, and I was surprised they've got settings so you can use it left-handed,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of cool. I
Yeah.
am really bad at it.
Oh, well, then you obviously didn't get to the leaderboard and saw that I made it above 59 or whatever it was. That was the bottom of the leaderboard on the, I think they called it Bill Drill, was
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So yeah, I surprised myself, but it took me about 4 or 5 times of running that. It's a short piece. There's a variety of things that you can do with it. But it took me about 4 or 5 times to run its reload shooting range. It's $4.99, so it's not going to kill you. Literally, it's not going to kill you. But I'm trying to run the video here and see if I can. Bill drill. Yeah, there it is. And you get a particular score. Free fire. That's interesting. And the way you reload is when you run out, you take your gun hand where you have your gun and you take your other hand and you slap the bottom of the gun hand and that reloads you like you're slapping in a cartridge or something like that. It's interesting. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm not a gun guy at all. And first person shooters, you know, but this was kind of fun. And then they had one aspect, Eric, you got to try this one out, Dave, when you get a chance. Drone, where they have a drone flying in the room, and
Oh,
you have to
huh.
unload and shoot the drone down. And that took a little bit more skill, but I got better the more times I did it. It's called, again for listeners, the link will be in there. Reload Shooting Range is the name of the app. But I thoroughly enjoyed the time that I spent with it. It's $5. It supports PSVR2 controllers also, because it also has a pretty good setup. If you want to learn all the aspects of it, it'll take you through, a lead in. And one of the options was, this is the way you set up the controllers. This is the way you set up your hands. And setting up your hands, it was very specific. You have to point, you have to have your index finger pointed out and then control it. It even has some weird safety stuff. I don't know if you remember, there's like, no, point the gun down, like,
Yeah.
before the range starts. And then point it up. But if you kind of have your finger closed a little bit, your index finger closed, it won't register. You have to have it like full extension
Oh,
before it
that's why.
registers, and then
Oh,
do that in order to get it to fire.
yeah, because
So
I was
yeah,
having problems where it wasn't firing, and then I was going and looking, and then it fired into the ceiling and it's into my foot and wandered around. And game two, I
that
finally
hurts.
got one to hit the piece of paper, but so it took a little while. But yeah,
Well,
I didn't know. Yeah, I missed the
that's the
extended finger part.
that's the fun of the game now for all of our listeners or anybody who's watching. You got to get the game just so you can shoot yourself in the foot. Or what I want to do is just like turn the gun towards me, and
I'm
see
sure
if.
there's a separate warning for
Yeah, I'm
that.
sure that. Yeah, I know. What fun is that? I tried to do a Sora where part of the story was my head explodes, and Sora wouldn't let me do it
Oh,
because they
that's
don't
kind of too
want to
bad.
they don't want to
Too
depict
graphic.
any aspects of violence.
Oh,
So here's the one that Eric couldn't find or couldn't load, and it's a little more expensive, but loads of fun. It's Hand Physics Lab. And do they have some video on here that I can show? Yes, they do.
it looked really cool.
It is. it took me through a series of small little tasks, which were easy to get through eventually, but it really is teaching you how to manipulate objects with this extended version of your hands. There's some crazy stuff in here. But it had me like manipulate rings, that have a string attached to them, and you had to take the small ring and bring it over through a wire maze, and then take the big ring and bring it over that to the other side of the wired maze. Just kind of fun, just kind of fun. And I would say out of the stuff I'd paid $10 for in the past, this is really worth the $10. And again, I'm not a big gamer, but it could be a lot of fun, just to kind of I'm puzzles. I like doing puzzles, and I like doing 3D puzzles with it. This comes kind of close to that for me, and just to get my gun off on the previous one. That is, reload is just kind of fun, just enjoyable. So I found 2 fun ones for me this week. I think I saw both of them mentioned in a Reddit thread, which is why I went to load those and try them out. So that kind of wraps it up for us for this week. And why don't we find out where we can find you? We'll start with Eric.
I could be found near the airport in Oshkosh right now, but normally on Mastodon at eabolden@mas.to. Otherwise, Monday nights, at least somewhat here, on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays on
Mac Voices.
where am I on Tuesdays? Mac Voices.
Voices.
Yeah. I'm on vacation. My brain checked out a while back, and I haven't found it yet. It hasn't returned. On Thursdays, of course, on In Touch with iOS. So I get all my various OSs throughout the week and all the news. And it looks like the next 10 days are going to be exciting.
Yep. Eric, I've got a question because I just saw you kind of sit up a little bit, and I saw something hanging on your shirt. What are you using there? Oh, you're using Rhodes.
Yeah, I didn't get time to plug in the thing to have the nice clip, but
Yeah.
this I have no idea how they sound. Hopefully you don't have the heavy air conditioner sound behind me.
No, they sound good. And so you're using one as a monitor, sort of, and one as a device, or it looks like you have 2 receivers there. Oh,
Got
okay.
one receiver,
Yep.
and technically I only need one of these, but I wasn't sure which one was working and whether I had muted one, so I just put them both on and left them that way because I was short on time.
Okay. Cool.
No idea what it will do. I'm not exactly sure how I configured it. I don't think I mixed it. I think they're 2 different channels.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yep. Sounds good. And Dave, where can we find you?
Find me at In Touch with iOS, intouchwithios.com, YouTube channel, youtube.com/intouchwithios. Here on Mondays with you guys on Vision Profiles, Tuesdays, Mac Voices Live with you guys and others. The gang on Mac Voices Live on Tuesday nights. Thursday nights, we record In Touch with iOS, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, and I'm on the Mac Show most Fridays on the British Tech Network. You can also find me on sorry, I forgot my social medias. Blue Sky, Mastodon, Dave G65.
And y'all have kind of mentioned where folks can find me. Tuesdays on Mac Voices, Mondays obviously here, Thursdays with Dave on In Touch with iOS. You can find the other stuff that I'm doing on the podtalk.net. Going to promo 2 things. AI Productivity Workflow is a new podcast talking about how to apply AI in your workspace and with the tasks that you have to do. And then Fade to Chat I'm doing with Cindy Rotz, and we are covering kind of movies of the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and having fun with those outside of the Mac sphere. And so, yeah, Gensius at mastodon.social or Gensius at Blue Sky. Jencius is where you can find me. You can follow the live stream on YouTube of this show at youtube.com/@visionprofiles on Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or catch the video later on YouTube and the audio on any of your podcast services. Vision Pro Notes roll around when new stuff happens, but I try to get them out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We love to hear from our listeners, so why not send us an email if you have an idea or want to join an episode. You can email us at thepodtalknetwork@gmail.com. Our bumper music is Free Jazzy by Steve Combs, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. Find out more about this and other shows that we do on the website, thepodtalk.net. Spread the word to other visionaries. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.